Hi guys, welcome to our weekly close. We've had an insane week today. So today the argument is we need to speculate on how this weekly candle is going to end and what that means for us. Knowing fair well that coins like Zcash, Dash, and even a little bit of GIGGLE went up extremely big and did extremely well this week. So yeah, we want to try and look at those and see how we can get in as well on that. So for those that are new to the stream, let me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to read the comments as we go through. And for those OGs, maybe throw some coin requests in the chat. And why? Because we do have a special guest that's coming up in under 2 or 3 minutes from now. And we can ask her those questions. You already probably know who that is. Okay, guys. So let's quickly do our recap for Bitcoin. I'm going to cut the music and get serious. So where we're at right now, this was our remain bullish line. And we started becoming bearish aggressively once Bitcoin fell below 119. We also pointed out to you guys that as the divergences are getting created, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to give up. You know, we were bullish. We weren't bearish on any one of these scenarios. The first time I was really cautiously bearish was when this happened. You know, we still had divergences and we kind of rallied a little bit higher. But the main takeaway is that on each one of these highs, we had subsequently less gains, losing momentum. And we want momentum to hold for a trend to remain healthy. And the last little hoorah that took us into all-time highs saw Bitcoin immediately reject, had a mass liquidation, the biggest one ever in Bitcoin's existence, in the crypto market's existence. Okay, and from that point onwards, we are changing the trend. Now, key takeaways from the weekly candle is something that goes up keeps on going up, but also you'll find that in the direction of the trend, the bodies will be bigger than the wicks, and the wicks will be that's it. So if we look at where we're at right now, you can see that up until recently, the bodies were bigger than the wicks on average for the blue candles, meaning the bull trend was healthy. We also saw that when we were correcting, the correction was a blend of candles with big wicks, small bodies, to critical lows at this stage. Okay, that's it. So impulse, correction, impulse, correction. And where we're at right now, that has changed. So the bodies are getting bigger to the red side. And when we do have blues, they're small. Now, we don't have enough to say full-on bear trend just yet, but it does look like the beginnings because we are slowly but surely seeing the same power on the bearish side as that we enjoyed on the bullish side. So taking this then going forward, what will be the probable outcome? Now, currently, I'm going to skip the daily time frame. I'm just going to go to the 4-hour time frame just to end off the thought. So the current outcome is that we're clearly still trending bearish from our sell zone. And at this stage, the expectation is before we can really have our rebalance, or let's sell the rest of our alts that's maybe an underwater pump, you know, that exit pump, what needs to happen is we'll probably need to make a lower low first, because we don't have very clean, strong bullish divergence yet. Now, strong bullish divergence, just like on the bearish side, is a sign of a wave ending. And how it would typically look is price will make a lower low on the candle prices, okay, which we haven't done yet. And the RSI will show strength by making a higher low. So RSI is showing strength, but price have not yet swept all these guys buying at 100. And the market tends to, doesn't want to take everybody along with the ride. So I am sitting on this with the expectation that from Bitcoin's point of view, we potentially need to see a little bit of a lower low before we can have that longer term correction that will give us a little bit of a, let's say, a respite, and probably at that stage establish the real bear trend fuss that could take Bitcoin to whatever. Let's not try and predict too far into the future. Now, Blue Ramastat from KGEN. Hi, my friend. Welcome to the stream. And that's it. So if you have any coin requests, drop them in. We've got about 65 people joining in live. It is Friday, and yesterday we were on call for about 3.5 hours. So Peter has given me very strict instructions to keep my thoughts to 45 seconds. Okay, so I'm already breaking the rules according to Peter. Okay, now let's quickly have a look at our liquidation maps. I'm going to reload the screen in front of you guys. I'm just going to add this to the stage so we can see it like that. So we can just see where today's potential shakeout could be. So short term, there is the possibility that the market will quickly continue on with this rally. So we might bounce slightly, take out a couple of the shorts before we take out all the long traders for the larger correction. So the pockets of liquidity between 98 and say 105, that will be the area where predominantly the chop will occur. So if we mark that over onto our chart, just to kind of give it there, 108 sits at these highs there, which is where I'm looking to reload my short. And then obviously the bottom end is going to be price trying to test or fill these wicks at the bottom. So that's where the shakeout should occur. So it supports the theory that we could go, make that lower low, create strong bullish divergence, meaning the RSI remains strong, shake out those guys thinking that they bought an amazing price at 100K, because it is a big psychological support level, shake them out, then only to rally, and then give us our next add to your swing short zone for lower low. So that's basically the whole point for me. And now let's head over and bring up our guest so that we can see what she is looking at. Look at what your request would be. And in addition to that, see how we can end off this week quite strong. So hello, Val. How are you doing?
Hi, glad to see everybody. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Val, I've given my little piece of where I think Bitcoin's going to go. I'm going to hand it over to you because, as we know, each analyst has got their own system to try and get to there. And maybe there will be some confluence between our various strategies. So, Val, mic is yours.
Sure. So last time we talked about that BTC is going to move to the downside. Don't remember exactly the price. It was up there somewhere.
115. We were looking at 115 because we wanted the weekly order block to get taken out, and then from that point on. So
and we had two zones. Yeah, we had two zones at that time. The first zone was 100K, which is clearly why it is. It's more reasons. It's psychological support. There's also the S1P, the monthly pivot moved there as well. We have another SR there, so to say. So there are more reasons why we bounced there. Looking at the chart right now on how the daily is looking, I do not see some overly bullish signs. I think it is more likely for us to revisit the yearly open. That is something that major assets do very often. So for BTC, that is my expectation right now. A move into yearly open is very likely. If for us to simply just bounce from here, yet I don't see any signs to support that theory. So for a bounce to occur, many more other things need to occur first. So we would need to first take out like the 116K here. Yeah, I was looking at, we would need to take out the 116K first, come back, hold the monthly open, monthly pivot. On the retest, I'll draw so it will be easier to understand. So we need to move in this manner, right? Start creating like higher highs, higher lows, etc. So that would be the idea for a change of direction for BTC right now. Until that occurs, we should be realistic and expect a tag up yearly open. If the bull run is over or not, I don't have that confirmation yet, according to the theory that we discussed on the 3D chart with the green circle, etc. So if we start dropping below yearly open into the 80 and 90K region, that's a confirmation basically that the bull market is over. Again, as I said, I'm not going to repeat myself. Anything is possible. It can change and resume the bull market or something. If that occurs, then we will discuss that at that point. Something else to mention, worth mentioning, is that since yesterday, basically, a lot of alts picked up some strength. So while BTC is just hanging in there, right, not really doing much, just ranging, alts are showing some strength and life possibly, finally, which is great news for, I think, everybody, because we all have some like underwater bags or just, you know, recently bought bags, etc. I would focus right now on trying to trade the alts moves. Ethereum is not doing much. We discussed, I think, when was it? On Wednesday. Yeah, on Wednesday we discussed what I expect for Ethereum. Just a sec, let me like take out the drawing. So it was a smaller time frame trade for me back then. So we expected a move into 3,460, 3,000, 3,500 somewhere. So, and then I expected it to pull back. So I sold everything that I got at 3,460. And right now I'm not in yet for another swing. I'll see. So Ethereum does not look as good either. I mean, the weekly is awful. Best case scenario, I hope it can push to like maybe again into monthly open and monthly pivot. But other than that, for retest, for a change of direction, it needs also a lot of work, like Bitcoin. Now, other alts are looking much better. We discussed Phil, which gave a great bounce. So it's up like, I don't know, 8% or something. So Phil is looking good. I would keep an eye on that one to enter. Near is also looking good. These are the two coins that I just, that I mentioned and discussed. So these are the ones I am trading. And there are some that didn't move. So maybe I'm not sure about that, but we could implement the lagging mentality here. So hoping that those that didn't move yet will start to move soon. So AVAX is not in a terrible position, I would say, a good contender for that kind of move. Even ADA is not looking bad, a good contender for an upside move. AAVE as well. I mean, Sol, I don't know. Sol goes for me somehow into the same price section with Ethereum and Bitcoin. And in a way, I'm not talking about, these alts. They have like a bit more volume. I'm talking about the smaller alts and not micro caps, like between micro and medium. Okay. Small ones.
For me, if I can basically look at a couple of coins, I think the reality for trading, I mean, we've now looked at Cardano from Matthew's point of view. I'm looking at, obviously, if you want to be trading altcoins right now, go to where the momentum is. Now, yesterday we had Joe on stream and we were looking at around $630 as a blow off top. And at the moment, what we don't even have is a proper pivot to take on. So these kind of coins, they become really risky. They become a sure thing in the sense. So the market is always so very fair. So they become a sure thing because it feels like a sure thing, it goes up. But then the risk to reward ratio for more upside is insane, because the areas of where support is quite far down. And it means that in order to capitalize on this, you need to almost have you can't look at them on the 4-hour anymore. You're going to have to go on the smaller time frames. But so sometimes when you have this kind of project, you have to almost say, maybe I let this one go. And that's where I am with this. But there's a few that I think we don't need to let go. So KGEN, let's have a look at KGEN. So KGEN is a play for you guys. Now, we wanted this thing to hold on to support, and I explained to you guys that when we marked it out, it's been bobbing around this resistance level, and now it's turning it into support. So what would people want? People would want to buy the support. KGEN is not going to give you that opportunity. Best case scenario, what you're going to have is you're going to have this body of this wick, a 50% overlap buy. So you're looking at around 28. Now, what I tend to do to try and not get left behind out of the move is to say, let's use the strat 2 strategy that I have, and we try and get in at around 28.8. So let's say 29, knowing very well that you obviously need to stomach price if it does. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. If it wants to bounce on these levels, anywhere in this range is going to be your buy zone. Now, where can this thing go to? This is the beauty about this play. You've got your TP1 set there, TP2, TP3, but normally what happens with these kind of coins when they have a long flat accumulation, guys, I really like this one. Long flat accumulation. It means that effort needs to be equal to result. And that means that we can potentially drive this thing from 31 cents to $1.20. And that's going to be where my TP is on this. So in the Discord, in the spot trade group, I am going to be throwing this trade out, and I am going to be taking that in that group. So now you're getting basically free alpha, guys. Free alpha on this one because we're going to be taking that one because the chart does look exceptionally juicy for me. Another one that I've got my eye on, had my eye on as a spilled milk, no use crying over spilled milk, is AIA. So there's a good example of exactly what I think the KGEN is going to do. You have that run, KGEN is going to give us that initial. So KGEN is sitting somewhere there. And whether it's going to be as violent and as fast as AIA, I don't know. I can't predict the future. But from a fractal point of view, the same economics that drive this to shoot there is available on KGEN. Another one that really did well, guys, I want to bring your attention to is that is GIGGLE. Now, I've been sitting on my hands with GIGGLE. A friend in the Discord shared GIGGLE when it was, I think, somewhere here or somewhere there. And I said, I'm not ready. But GIGGLE now has given us our first wave. So if we want to be bullish, regardless of what I'm thinking on Bitcoin, because it's clearly Bitcoin might not be doing well, but there's a cyclical way of money is moving away now and looking at these coins. That's why these alts are getting a little bit of a micro alt season, if I want to put that between brackets. We have GIGGLE that is setting up to go and test these lows. Now, yesterday I shared this very simple strategy for you guys. Take it from the low to the high, hit your long-term February load level, 133, 96, 70. That's going to be your DCA buy areas. And then from that point onwards, because we have a first wave, all you need to do is hit your Fib resistance speed fan. Once we're in that buy zone, you start tracking this highs with us and you stay in the move for as long as it's there. Now, coins like Dash, let's quickly track the moves. See whether we can still stay in Dash because, like Val just said, Dash. Like Val just said, let me just get the right one loaded. These coins are starting to get life and there's money moving into it. So can we still buy maybe something that has or feels like it's already left? So let's have a look at Dash real quick. So what's the rule? Take it on the low. There's your first move. We've made a higher high, and you can see that Dash has basically broken trend already. So it might be that some of these coins will give you this bull trap. So you need to be very selective. Use the strategy. And when do you get back in on Dash? If we reclaim that line. So don't FOMO in on some of these coins necessarily just because they're pumping, because some of them are breaking trend regardless of the bullish sentiment. Bless is another good example. We can hit this onto the 1 hour time frame. And yet again, if that is the first wave, you wait for the first wave. And once you make a higher high, you keep that. Buy Bless only if we reclaim 64 cents, which means from an hourly point of view, just wait a little bit. If we can open and close an hourly above 64 or 0.64, Bless could potentially be another one of these that's almost into triple digit gains for today. Like AIA, simple as that. And just to prove the validity of the strategy, there's your first wave. Okay, once you start making a higher high, what does price do? It stays above that line. So if you want to FOMO in on AIA, your drawdown needs to accommodate all of this price action, meaning you can buy it right now, but you need to stay above 10. Keep the momentum and don't try and be hopeful if it goes into drawdown, because these coins, when it's fast, they will punish you. They will retrace if they want to. It's fast, don't last. So enjoy the gains, but understand that, you know, it can burn just as hard as they went up. Okay, so that's basically that. And then there's a question, Val, you know, maybe you can answer it. COAI, one of those agent nonsense manipulations. What's your take on COAI? Let's make that, and we'll take 3 more requests, and then we can call it a stream.
I have no idea what that is. I need to look.
Okay, no problem. I'll quickly, you know, TA, we tend to throw each other under the bus. So here's the chart from my point of view. So COAI, we rode this thing aggressively up into these highs. Okay, this was the last play we had. And that being just a trend line, you can also have a look at that. There, it stays above it, stays above it, stays above it. And as soon as we fall below it, things got really hairy where it's at. Now, long sideways accumulation, guys, this is a 1 hour time frame. So don't expect the pump to last for months. This is a very small time frame coin. But what you want to see is you want to see this thing. We're at the right support level, and we need to reclaim resistance at the moment. So let's just mark out where that resistance lives. You don't need a degree in trading, guys, to just be honest with yourself. You can clearly see price wanted to stay above that. Yeah, wanted to stay above that level. And where we're at, right, we're slowly reclaiming that. But we've not yet even made a higher high. So I'll be patient with this one. And as the setup goes, let the first wave form. And then if we do get that move and we start moving in there, it's going to feel like the thing has run away with you. But then you get in on the move, because clearly at this stage, COAI is one of those hopeful plays that we want to see do well, but it's not ready to move. Okay.
It's a very young coin too. I see. It's not like it has a lot of price action. So I'm looking at it. What I see is that this is our SR here that we need to reclaim. So it's around 3.9 on the 4-hour chart. I mean, this is more of a bigger swing. On short term, yes, I completely agree. The resistance is clear. It's here at like 2.22. This is what needs to be reclaimed, as you call it, the first wave. It needs to push above it, and the push above and come back for a retest, maybe hold like, I don't know, 1.4, 1.5, something like that.
A coin that I think maybe could be of some interest to you guys as well is, let me bring my screen on, JELLYJELLY. Now, JELLYJELLY had an insane run, and I think it's over. Meaning, I'm not just sentiment-wise. I don't have any TA to support this. I don't think we're going to go make a higher high. Maybe we do. Then this was the buy of the century, but I don't think they just yet. Okay, but because it was fast, it didn't last. And because that was fast, it didn't last either. Now, let's just quickly rewind, just train our eyes to understand the way of when it's fast, it don't last. COAI did exactly the same. Fast, it don't last. Which means there is the potential for more of these crazy up and down swing waves on JELLYJELLY as well. So have a look at JELLYJELLY. What I do like about this one, if you have a look at the last time it had a little bit of a lateral range and accumulation, mark it out, we're staying above that area of support. So the cost of this opportunity for you to try and potentially make some money using JELLYJELLY is relatively cheap, because if you think of it like this, you don't want JELLYJELLY to fall below that level. Now, yes, it's 40% drawdown. Come on, that's not cheap. But think of it like this. If you were going to buy $1,000 worth of spot on JELLYJELLY, that's the money you've got allocated for JELLYJELLY. In order to have 4% risk instead of 40% to your bags, all you need to do is buy $100 of JELLYJELLY and leave $900 alone for the duration of the trade. I know it's hard because we tend to not want to do that. Money needs to work for us. But that's the way that you, in the end of the day, still turn on spot, deleverage the crazy swings that it has. Now, you can narrow that down. But now, yet again, think of it like this. If $100 turns to $300, it's the same as taking $1,000, risking 4% and making $300 on that, 30% on that. So it's the same kind of end result, but now your risk management to spot is fine. Now, do I think it's going to go to 38? Hey, look, there's a lot of resistance at 17. Break through that, maybe 33 is a potential. And then yet again, let's just train our eyes. Think of COAI, zoom back into these levels. What happened at these lows? I just said we had accumulation, low. Okay, what do we have? Lower low on the RSI. We're above the accumulation, hidden bullish divergence, guys. And that's the key here. The hidden bullish divergence that we saw on COAI is from a structural point of view, similar to what we're seeing with JELLYJELLY right now. Hidden bullish divergence. RSI is down there, and we still have a structure above from where we are right now. Or we above the previous structure. So we do have that hidden bullish divergence. So there you have it. A little bit of a JELLYJELLY. High risk play, but I think it's worth keeping an eye on that. Val, any comments or any thoughts on JELLYJELLY?
It moved very nice. It was great if you were in the first wave. I agree with you. It is possible for you to do some retests. However, I'm one of those traders that once I did something with a coin, for example, and it performed great, I focus somewhere else.
So you leave. You're a user. You use and abuse the coins, and then they debt to you. That's what you are, sis Val.
No,
you can't do that to the poor coin. You need to love it.
Yes, I just have enough experience to know that this can bite you when you least expect it. So if you got lucky once, I say you be grateful and thankful and move to the next.
And move on. Okay, there you have it, guys. Okay, so closing remarks for the weekend, because currently we're seeing alts, and most alts are in really good double-digit gains. So just going to bring back my screen. So we're looking at, I mean, AIA is the one crazy outlier, but I mean, you've got Zcash, Caspar, ICP still doing well, Filecoin out of nowhere rallying a little bit. So typically you do have a couple of double-digit gain alts, and these kind of moves, Celestia could potentially also give you that kind of dead cat bounce. Let's just call it that. I'm not trying to invest or hodl any of these buys long term, and neither should you. But that kind of dead cat bounce kind of scenario. I mean, it's been pounded for months at an end now. You know, we've shown strength after the liquidation. We didn't quite go to 50%. But if we reclaim this, it could see a quick rally from 84 cents to $1.40 over the weekend. So keep an eye on this, you know. And yes, it's going to run into hidden bearish divergence. So when you do hit resistance at around, say, 92, that's what you want to wait for. You want to wait for the hidden bearish divergence to play out to make the buy as cheap to invalidation as possible. Because if you lose this kind of support, then the market is not going to do that. It's probably going to do that and some. So yeah, these kind of coins. So you can have a look at some of them. They will have a potential upside. Celestia, Ethereum Classic, I was looking at a little bit earlier, does have that potential. And Mantle was ripping a while ago, and it is coming. It is back down now. So maybe Mantle, Bybit's DAO will probably also see a little bit of momentum over the weekend. Okay, your thoughts for alt trading over the weekend? Do you trade them over the weekend?
Yes. Basically, what I think will happen is that Bitcoin will keep going in the range. I don't think we'll see any big moves this weekend for BTC. And that will give altcoins the possibility to move. Some will pump harder, some will, you know, just lag a bit and move a few percent. It doesn't matter. But I do think altcoins are looking good for short-term plays. For like big swing plays, they're not in a bad place to get in. I mean, how low can they go? Some have hit like levels we haven't seen in like forever or something like that. So unless the project completely dies, I think the majority of the altcoins are in a good spot to buy for swing trades, longer term swing trades, unless they already super pumped like ZAC not a good buy. It's approaching bearish OB at fees 570. You need to check a longer, a broader chart, which is on Bitfinex for that coin, or Bitstamp, or whoever other exchanges that have it, or Dash. I haven't looked at Dash, but you know, it's moving something like ZAC along that way. So ICP is pumping, but it could move to like $10, which is like not very far. Not sure what's going on with that project, but those are examples of coins that already moved. So those are coins you would need to enter cautiously. ZEC, for example, I'll show you, has like thin air until $55. It's not like we haven't seen crashes like that before. So here's our ZEC, right? So we had a super violent move, and there was like thin air, nothing else. And we are going into a bearish OB here between 570 and it's a large one, but you know, 570 and 800, right? So entering now, though, these coins is extremely late. The other coins, on the other hand, this is what I'm trying to stress out, are somewhere like here. You know, they are so low that it is, the risk is much smaller with those. It's not like Zeke just discovered like, you know, something, and there is just pumping because money is moving. So again, I don't trade on fundamentals, and I don't care about the fundamentals. It's just money rotation in the market. So I would rather, you know, go into alts that have the possibility to move up rather than those that already moved up, and I'm just trying to catch the hype. So I would watch out for charts that look like this and not really touch them right now, and touch charts that look like, I don't know, I'm going to give like a comparison, whatever is something under my hand, like this, right? Because what do we see? What do we see here? It's obvious. We lost that support, yes, but it was for a short while, I would say. And if Phil manages to reclaim this level 2.5 here, yeah, it has a lot of room to go to the upside. Very much. I mean, okay, we're not talking about like $400. Forget that. That's not what I'm saying. Let's hold all else to their like previous all-time highs. It would be nice, but it is not realistic. Okay, that's nonsense. But it can move to like at least yearly open, which is like $5. It can move to range highs, which is here around $10. I mean, you take it step by step. Sell some at 5, sell some at 10. Here you go. You made yourself an X5 on display, right?
There you have it. There you have it, Val. Well said. You guys got the juice. You know what to do. You know where to go and follow Val. Peter will bring up the handle there. Go and follow her Twitter page. I will quickly load that as well. Let me just do this. Twitter can sometimes be so frustrating. One shortcut works and then it doesn't. So let me just quickly bring up our Twitter page. There we go. Val, there she is. Go and give her a follow. And thanks so much for everything, Val. You now know what to do. For the rest of you guys, have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the alts that do run. They do run over the weekend. You now know the levels. You know the coins we're looking at. You know where we're at with Bitcoin. And you know the cautionary situation from a complacency wave. Bitcoin has to be bearish because that's where the funds are coming from. And clearly, when alts are firing off like this, how can this be a bear market? Don't let that blind you going forward. Have a lovely weekend, guys. See you back on Monday. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.